The following podcast is a deep, shallow dive production.
Okay, let's go.
Hey everybody, happy Wednesday, and we are back. It's Ray Dustar, and this is the Deep Shallow Dive podcast. All right, jumping in, I'm going to share with you guys something. To be honest, I really wasn't even going to talk about this until it got a little further along. But you know what? I am, because I actually want opinions on this. And for those of you that know me, you know how to get in touch with me. If you don't know me, you can always go to deepshallowdive.com and send a contact us there, or you can hit me up on any of the socials and DM me or whatever. But I am super excited about this because I think I've got a great idea. And I talked about this in the 2 podcast episodes that focused on the new kids on the block, the right stuff, Vivek and RFK Jr. And I even mentioned it in one of those episodes, but I've actually moved forward on working on this. And that is, I literally want to set up a debate between Vivek and RFK Jr. I'm not even kidding. Like, I think that would be so fantastic. It would give these guys an opportunity to talk to America. And, you know, I'm talking about a throwback to when debates were between gentlemen. You know, this is like going back to the Reagan years where, you know, debates were between gentlemen and they were talking about America and they were giving us their plans and giving us their insights. You know, obviously I covered the first Republican debate, you know, which was it was a mess. But if you think back to the debates in 2020, which there was only one, I think maybe 2 of them, and I'm actually going to go back and pull those episodes and go back through them and maybe even do a full episode on that, especially on the Democrat side, because man, those debates in 2020 before COVID kicked in, they were nasty. They were super, super nasty. I remember Kamala and Joe Biden going at each other, and then it's funny to where that led to. Anyway, you know, I really want to gather some opinions on this. I mean, does this make any sense, or am I just, you know, completely losing it? Real talk from real candidates with real questions from real America. Moderated by your boy, Ray D. I'm not even kidding about that. Like, I think I can moderate this debate. I watch some of these other guys and I watch these other debates, and, you know, everything is just, it's just a mess right now. We need real talk. That's why I love when these guys go on, you know, other people's podcasts. I loved that Vivek and RFK Jr. have gone on, you know, Joe Rogan, Russell Brand. They went on the Breakfast Club. I think Vivek went on Charlemagne the God's podcast. Like, that's good stuff, man. That's really good stuff. And it's real talk. So anyway, let me know if you know how to get a hold of me. If you don't, again, deepshallowdive@gmail.com. You can send an email there. But, you know, what do you think of this idea? Vivek versus RFK Jr. in the next 30 to 45 days, debating it out like gentlemen with Ray D moderating. I love it. I seriously love it. I think it's a great idea. You know, there's actually been some talk about DeSantis and Gavin Newsom debating. I think that's a good idea too. But I'm not as interested in those 2 guys. I think both of them would be incredible amounts of, you know, political posturing, and they would both, I don't know. I'm just not that interested in that debate. I am interested, though, in giving RFK Jr. and Vivek a big platform to share, because I will tell you, I think these guys slowly but surely, they're getting frozen out of the media. You know, this happened in 2020 to Bernie Sanders. There's an incredible documentary called Bernie's Blackout. It's amazing. It aired on Vice TV. I'll try to find it and I'll put a link in the notes. But it was incredible, and it showed how systematically and methodically the mainstream media started freezing Bernie Sanders out, and how by the time the second debate had come and the second or third primary was starting, he went from being ahead in the polls by a lot to basically they all dropped out. Now that was when COVID happened and all that. So that's a bigger story. And to be honest with you, that's a deep, shallow dive. That whole situation was odd to me. I remember thinking how weird that whole thing was where, all of a sudden Amy Klobuchar dropped out, Mayor Pete dropped out. They all basically dropped out at the same time. And then it's interesting, if you look at the positions, some of those, if not most of them, ended up getting. That's interesting. So digress on that. Really want thoughts on this. Vivek versus RFK Jr. I'm fired up about this. I've already initiated discussion with both camps. I was able to get through to both camps and, there's interest. And I think it's a great idea. So would love to hear back from anybody on that. Man, if you can't tell, I am fired up. I really am. I think this is a phenomenal idea. And I would love to hear these guys give us their takes and go against each other. Again, like a couple gentlemen in a debate that would, help us understand why they should be the nominee for their respective party. And then also why then they could be president of the United States. Oh, all right. That's it on that. Seriously, that was almost one take. It wasn't quite one take. I messed up a couple times, but that was practically one take. All right, I'm going to take a sip of my tasty beverage and then let's move on. Okay, so here's what else I wanted to talk about today. And God, I guess we got to kind of keep it in the political arena today, but it is what it is. So Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, directed the House today to open up impeachment hearings on President Biden. First of all, let me say, this is just a waste of time. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of taxpayer money. It's a huge distraction. Nothing is going to come of this. And if something does come of it, then that's got a purpose. Like, there's no way anything is going to come of this unless they want something to come of it. And that would be opening up the door for what I said earlier. It's a hot take, but if it happens, then maybe you'll start believing me. Gavin Newsom, Michelle Obama. The only difference now is I don't know who's going to play which role. Maybe Michelle Obama is the candidate and Gavin Newsom is the VP. Initially, I thought it would be Gavin as the presidential nominee, Michelle Obama as the VP, but maybe they'll swap that around. So anyway, in regards to this Biden investigation brought on by Kevin McCarthy, again, I don't think this is anything unless they want it to be something and they want it to open the door for, coming up with some type of plan B on the Democrat side. So again, I think this is just a distraction and a waste of time, but I thought this would be interesting because we did this the other day and a lot of people liked it. Let me give you the 3 different takes from the center, the left, and the right. And you'll see just how different this story is getting covered. Let's start with the left. Here's the New York Times. McCarthy, under threat from right, orders Biden impeachment inquiry. Okay, here's Axios, which is also the left. I'm going to do a couple of these. Matt Gaetz threatens McCarthy with daily attempt to remove him as speaker. So here, both of these entities are basically talking about how the folks on the right and mentioning Matt Gaetz by name, they're basically saying to McCarthy, hey, either open up an investigation or we're going to remove you as the speaker. So that's the left. Okay, from the right, this is the New York Post. This says, McCarthy directs House committee to open formal impeachment inquiry into Biden's alleged involvement with Hunter business dealings. Okay, that's pretty factual, so not even too much bias there. And then from the center, this is The Hill. It says, McCarthy directs House committee to open Biden impeachment inquiry. Okay, that's interesting. So now the center and the right kind of seem to be aligned on this one, with the left really focusing on how McCarthy's under pressure from his own team. They're going to remove him as Speaker of the House. And so he's kind of doing this because of that. I will say, though, even though the right and center were somewhat similar, notice that the right throws Hunter's name in there. They want to keep that going, whereas the center just makes it more of like, hey, we're reporting Speaker of the House, he's ordering an investigation. But the right definitely threw Hunter's name in there to keep that as part of their narrative. Anyway, again, that's kind of all over the news, so I wanted to bring that up. The other thing I wanted to bring up is, gosh, I saw an interview from Senator John Fetterman, the senator from Pennsylvania, and I'm going to try to play this clip for you guys because I just thought it was ridiculous. I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. The way he answered this question, first of all, the way he's dressed is ridiculous. He is, you're a senator. Put on a tie, put on a dress shirt, put on a suit. You look the part, and have some respect for the position. I really mean that. I really mean that. People need to dress nice. That's ridiculous. And then secondly, I thought his response was just inappropriate and, not becoming of a United States senator. All right, give a listen.
Ask you about this news that Speaker McCarthy has formally launched an impeachment inquiry, has said he's going to.
Oh my God, really? Oh my gosh, it's devastating. Ooh, don't do it. Please don't do it.
I don't know if that even does it justice. The video is even more ridiculous because he's acting like a 5-year-old. That's just ridiculous. Anyway, all right, everybody, that is it. I was fired up this episode. I'm not even gonna lie. This definitely was a fun episode for me to record because I'm fired up and I'm passionate about this. And, all the things I talked about, I feel very strongly about. Vivek versus RFK Jr., that needs to happen. Moderated by Ray D. Absolutely. And then outside of that, the impeachment of President Biden, this is just a distraction. It's probably a distraction that, is going to amount to nothing. But if it does amount to something, then realize there's a purpose behind it. And then lastly, Senator John Fetterman, I just don't think that was appropriate. That was not appropriate answer. If you want, YouTube it, go look it up. You'll see the clip. You'll see the way he reacts and you'll see the way he's dressed, which again, both of I think are not appropriate. All right. I got to end today with some shout outs because I've been meaning to do this with a couple of my guys here. First of all, my boy David Nobles, Warrensville Heights, Ohio, lives on the East Coast and said, Ray D, I try to listen to you on my drive and in my walks in the morning, but your episodes launch a little later. Can you launch them earlier? So because of that and because of my man David, my episodes now are getting released at 4 a.m. East Coast time. I'm sorry, 7 a.m. East Coast time, 4 a.m. Pacific time. So they should be waiting for you on your drive or on your walk. My main man Nima G here in Los Angeles / Scottsdale, he actually pointed out, he said, hey, in your one episode where you were talking about RFK Jr., episode 1, there were a couple glitches in your audio. And he was right. I went back and listened, and there definitely were a couple glitches in that. And that was a new piece of software that I was testing out, and it did not work well. So I appreciate him saying that. All right, everybody, seriously, I need a nap after this. Remember, call a spade a spade. That's what we're doing. We are calling a spade a spade. And don't drink a bunch of coffee before you record a podcast. All right, everybody. Talk to you soon.
This episode was brought to you by Boost Liquid Vitamins. Wake up, take your Boost, start your day. Drink your vitamins, build your immune system with Boost. Available on Boost.com.